Here at The Rose, we have many volunteers, and we are thankful for each and every one of them. But there's a group of people who hold a special place in our hearts, and that's our interns. Today, you're going to hear stories from two remarkable young men who gave us a glimpse into the future of compassion and purpose. Josh Loera is in human resources. His whole degree is about learning how to help people in a very definite, very one-on-one way. And Usman Sami is someone who takes research and puts it on a spreadsheet and can come up with all kind of different ways of looking at someone's demographics. Both of these young men have been with us this fall, and here in this time of Thanksgiving, we want to say thank you to them for caring enough to do all this work it's all free, and for being such a big part of The Rose. Please share this episode with family and friends, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. We so appreciate you supporting The Rose's mission, and most of all, we want you to take care of yourself. Let's talk about your breast. A different kind of podcast presented to you by The Rose, a breast center of excellence and a Texas treasure. You're going to hear frank discussions about tough topics, and you're going to learn why knowing about your breast could save your life. Tell us a little bit about your childhood and where you were born and what you got to this stage in your life, what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I originally am from California. I was born over there, a little place called Pomona. But for the majority of my life, I'm actually Houston raised, here in the outskirts of Houston in the suburbs. I'm a proud son of an immigrant and a wonderful, amazing mother who is my biggest supporter. And they both had a tremendous amount of who I am today. And I'm also the youngest of three boys, so they also had a big part to play as well. But all throughout my life, they have been my rock. They've been the people who have kind of set my path. And yeah.
Did they always tell you could do anything?
My father is more of a realistic person. My mother, yes. My father's always been the type of person to be very methodical about certain things. He always did push for me to go to college since I was the youngest. There was a little more luxury of what I was able to do. And I did go to college. I'm 21 years old, and I last year graduated with my bachelor's degree, and I'm halfway into my master's degree now.
And so that's what brought you to The Rose. You're doing an internship with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, as part of all of your master's work.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been with us about 2 months?
A little less, actually. It's been, I think we're reaching 6 weeks.
Okay. But you jumped right in there with the shrimp pole and helped us. Was that an eye-opener?
It was an eye-opener in the sense that you guys have a wonderful staff, and the size of your organization is while it's smaller than what a for-profit would be, the dedication that your staff has is, I think, just unlike no other. I spent a lot of time with Miss LaTanya and Miss Shannon, and while I was helping out, and we had a little bit of laughs, but they did put me to work, and I enjoyed it. It was it was a great time. And then when we actually went to the shrimp boil, it was a good time. I had an eye-opener to see how many people came and supported the cause. And it was really, really eye-opening, I guess you could say, to know that there's a real community. I don't know if I ever have really seen that many people supporting cancer all at once, or not supporting cancer, but supporting breast cancer survivors. Right. And yeah, it was a really fun time. And it was a great event. Raised a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we jokingly call it a huge family reunion where you have 800 of your closest family and friends that show up, I mean, it really is a different kind of event. It's not one you'll normally find in the nonprofit arena,
Really?
It's not a luncheon, it's not a gala, it's not, it's just a time for the community to come together. And they have for many, many years now. It's been going on.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit of a tribute to your story. Everyone there, I did notice one thing. Everyone there seemed to kind of know each other. Mm-hmm. Everyone there there was a real sense of community, and the tribute that I think you have is that you have had a huge impact on this community, and there was a subtle touch that I noticed that you were wearing the captain's hat. And so you're like the captain that steers the boat. And I really thought that was a really nice touch because it's true. It's a really nice.
That's very kind of you, Josh, to say that. But let me tell you about that hat. I have cousins here from Missouri, mm-hmm. and they had gone to the bin store. Do you know what that is? I didn't know what it was, but it's kind of like a dollar store.
Okay.
And found that hat, brought it home, said, "We found the perfect hat for you today." Well, what do? You wear it. I mean, it was a lot of fun to have it. Everybody wanted to have a picture in it or try it on or something like that. So, yeah, you do things for your family, and it was very sweet of them to think of me having something on that day because there's a lot of people there, and at least folks could find me.
Right.
They wanted to say something, or they wanted to talk to me, then they could find me. So that's interesting that you noticed that. So what brought you to do an internship at the Rose? Why did you choose the Rose?
I chose the Rose for lots of different reasons. Like I said, I started my master's degree in August of 2024.
And that degree is in what?
I'm getting a master's degree at the University of Houston Clear Lake, a master's degree in human resources.
Okay.
And I started that degree in fall of 2024, August. I had been looking for, I would say, maybe 2 months or so, and I had some offers, but none of it really sat right for what I wanted to do with my career. A lot of those offers were very surface level, and it would have just kind of thrown me right into the deep end, and it just wasn't what I wanted for my career. And I'll tell you this, there was this one moment, and I attribute this to be like the pivotal moment of when I chose the Rose and how everything started. Is that I was walking at my university, and I was passing by an office, and this woman stopped me. Her name is Bernie. She is a well-known staple in the university. She works at the Office of Strategic Partnerships over there. And we got to chatting. She said, "Hey, you're starting your degree in HR, right?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Something slid across my desk earlier this week, and I think you'd be really perfect for." And I was like, "Great. Who's it with?" And she said, "The Rose." And I was like, "What is that?" And so I did a little bit of digging, as one does when you're preparing for like a possible job interview. And I found the story of the Rose. I found your story. I found the story of your co-founder, and really reminded me of the stories that I've heard growing up of the countless cancer survivors, all the people that I've grew up. I even had someone, one of my classmates in junior high who did have cancer and unfortunately did pass away from cancer about a year after. So the thought and presence of cancer has always been there, even in my family. And at that moment, something just really clicked. And I was like, this is an opportunity that I don't want to mess up. And I sent in my resume with our brilliant HR director, and she sat me in for an interview, and the rest is history. Yeah.
She was very excited. Juana was very excited about you coming in.
Yes, and I'll tell you this, if I may. What really sold me when I went into that interview was actually Miss Juana.
Yeah.
For my career, I don't think there was anything else that I could have asked for in a mentor, in a supervisor, in a learning program than Miss Juana. Miss Juana is really well accomplished, and she's so knowledgeable. And if I was going to learn from anyone, I had a huge feeling that it's going to be from her. And I've been here for 5-6 weeks, and it's been really eye-opening, revolutionary for me. I think I've learned quite a bit.
So why HR? Why would you choose that?
Okay, I get that question a lot because a lot of people think that HR is kind of like the rule in which they are. They think of The Office. They think of Toby from The Office. And I wish I could say that I had some amazing foresight that I knew I was going to be walking down this path when I was in high school. But like many other teenagers, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up. And the truth is that growing up, I was a lot of my teachers call me a jack of all trades. And out of everything, the one common factor was that I was good at talking to people. I was good at just having conversations, I found that a lot of people would come to me for advice. Some people would just want to come and talk to me. And I had a teacher who basically just wanted me to do personality tests. And she gave it to me, and it came out that I'm a really good fit for HR. And I was like, okay. So I got to end of senior year, went to college, and I really only had an inkling of what I wanted to do for my career. And I was like thinking it's going to be something in HR. Didn't have no real like inkling of what I wanted to do until I started our student SHRM chapter of in our university. And
so explain what that is for our listeners.
Yes, SHRM stands for the Society of Human Resource Management. It's a national organization that basically is the policy makers. When something happens in the government or anything like that, for all these human resource professionals, they go to SHRM. And it's basically kind of like the gold standard for human resource professionals. They can also get certified. It's a really big part of the profession to be SHRM certified because it's also similar to taking like a OSHA certification.
Right.
It's very much of a gold stamp of approval. So I started the student chapter at my university of that. And that really solidified the notion that I realized then and there that human resource professionals are quite literally the jack of all trades. So you wear so many hats in HR. And I realized that if I do go into this profession, I don't have to go to work and do the same thing over and over and over again. And I really do think that I wouldn't be happy doing something like that. So every day is a new day, especially my time that I've been here with Miss Juana. Every day has been pretty different, and it's been a really nice ride. So yeah.
Yeah. So what's it been like to be in this environment with so many women?
And it's really interesting because I never really had. So I'll tell you this: my university is actually very much female dominated. Statistically, at least a couple of years ago, men were outmatched 5-1. Wow. Yeah, at least when I first started college, and I went across all like faculty, staff, and I was in my first accounting class, my first semester there, and I never noticed. Until I was in an accounting class, and for whatever reason, we're talking about percentages. We're on the topic of gender versus male, percentage, whatever, what have you not. And my professor looks around the room, and she's like talking, and she's like looking at me, and then she points at me, and she's like, "Have you noticed anything?" And I was looking around, and I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm over here stressing and taking notes as fast as I can." And I look around, and I realize I'm the only male there, and it really is not anything that at least for me, it wasn't anything that I noticed until someone points it out. I remember very vividly my friend next to me, she was just having a laugh. And I was like, how do you, it's been like 2 months and you haven't noticed? And I was like, no, I haven't. Why have I noticed that? But in this environment, in a professional environment as well, it's not something that I really pay attention to. Again, that I've been in college and at that university for going on 5 years, and nothing has ever really brought that into attention.
But Josh, you're in a very intimate female environment here. I mean, we're talking about breast, and we're talking about cancer, and we're talking about people's lives, and they all circle around, they all revolve around a woman.
Yes.
So
that in and of itself can be uncomfortable at times. And someone who's going into HR, Ms. Juana and I have talked about this quite a bit, and especially on my first day, that you have to be comfortable with these uncomfortable situations. But if you take away the surface level of that, it is a human being having a truly terrible thing happen to them. And I understand that. It can be, the sort of intimacy can lead to uncomfortableness, but at the very root of that, I remember that there's nothing here that would be different if it was a male going through the same issues. And I believe that there should be no bias, prejudice in any of that. So I try to approach every day working in this environment. I will probably be in this environment for very long. That's the type of approach that I'm trying to take into my work and my work ethic.
Not to challenge anything here, but this is healthcare.
Yes.
And you could be HR anywhere. So do you see yourself staying in healthcare?
It's a possibility now because living in Houston, there's a wide array of healthcare options. I do see, at least starting out, going into something along the healthcare lines, because it would be very, I think, fulfilling for me. Going into a field where, at least inadvertently, I'm helping people. Like, for instance, here at the Rose, I've thought about this a little bit, where my everyday actions have helped the employees of the Rose, and inadvertently I'm helping someone make their day easier. I've been in the room with Ms. Juana where we've had conversations of, this is how you're helping this employee, and this is how this employee is helping someone in the community. And for me, if I want to do something with my life, it has to be, especially in the work profession, has to be something where I am proud to say I work here. And I've been telling everyone that I work at the Rose. And if someone asks, what is the Rose? This is what the Rose does. And so this has been an eye-opening experience to me, because I've been told by professors that you have the employee has as much of the right to choose the employer as they have a right to choose you. And the experience I had going into this internship really shed a light for that to me, and it said to me that I can do that. And my professor, at the end of that sentence, and this always resonated to me, he said, make sure that you work for someone that you are proud for, that you can go home happy. If you have a bad day, say, I had a bad day, but I'm working towards something, a goal, a mission that is helping people, or doing something that you're just proud of, that you enjoy. And I think for me, it would be helping people.
Do you think that came from your mom? That feeling of wanting to help?
Yes. My mother is my biggest supporter, but she's had her own struggles. And in a way, we've been each other's caretakers. I'm the youngest, so I'm like her baby, and I know that. But she has an illness, something called hyperthyroidism. And if you don't know what that is, it's a terrible illness where your thyroid gland starts producing a lot of hormones really rapidly and uncontrollably. And a lot of individuals, particularly women as well, have this illness when they're about to reach menopause or even before then. So my mother, from a very young age, has had this illness right around the time I was like 3-4 years old. And now she's in something called hypothyroidism, where it killed the thyroid gland, and now she drinks pills to produce hormones. And that experience and that growing up has had its own challenges because sometimes, my mother would be down on the feelings or there'd be something going on.
Or she just didn't feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very, very grueling illness. And it's a toll on her every day. And it is something that she has to fight with every day. And I've always wanted to help her. And she has always wanted to help me in everything that I've done. Everything that I've accomplished to this day has been because of my parents, because of mainly her and my brothers. But they, especially my mom, has always said, if you can help me, you can help others. And it's a very common saying, I think, in my family. So it just kind of instills this sort of notion that you shouldn't be giving your help just to me. There's plenty of other people that in the world can be helped and should be helped. Take, for instance, my older brother, who is got a degree also from UHCL. He got a degree in social work, and he is a mental health case manager in a private institute prison. And he's helping people every day, incarcerated people.
Who don't have as many options and live in totally different environment than we could imagine.
Yes. But still nonetheless helping.
Yeah.
And he's also been a role model in my life, a huge role model. He's the true first generation. I am first gen, but he claims the title of the first person to go to college in my entire family and attend college and also receive a degree. And he did that first with an associate's and then a bachelor's degree to, get the salt in the wound. If only I was born, 10 years earlier. But he really did pave the way for me to pursue a degree in anything. But he gave me a role model because I saw that he was struggling. He was working 2 jobs, going to school, and he's still choosing to do this with your life. That's not, for lack of better words, it's not well paid. The social work industry is very unpaid. And he still wanted to do this. And I don't know, something in that growing up, he's a little bit, both of my brothers are much older than me. They're about 9 and 11 years older than me. And so I was quite young. When he was going to college, I was 8 years old. So I was always kind of saying that he's a person who wants to go help, and not for the money, not for any sort of fame or anything, but it's someone who really does want to help people.
If those are the inspirations you've had, you're certainly in the right field. Because HR is the helping department. It is the department that cares.
Yes. I've always been told that HR is a support system. It's the support function in every organization, and which is true. And I don't know if I've always been the type of person to be a supporter, but now that I see what I can do through this internship, has sort of brought this sort of anxiety of like, are you sure that this is what you want to do with your career? It's brought this anxiety just completely away that I feel really comfortable.
Well, you seem very comfortable in it. No. And you probably don't know this, but my career started in HR, and I loved it. Of course, back then it was called personnel.
Oh.
And back then, it was very different than it is now, but it was, as you described, a different issue every day, a different thing you're going to do. I just love that, the novelty, the unusual that would come in. And it was always about people's lives.
Right.
It was always about that. So how are you going to change the world as you move forward?
I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's something that I think I've yet to really figure out. And in retrospect, if I were in 10 years down in my career and I am working in the healthcare industry, for example, and I am working to make the employees of whatever organization I am with, say for instance, if I'm working at Moore Herman, if I'm working to make their lives easier or at least the organization succeed, that would be the difference that I would want to make. But as me being 21 years old, I'm still kind of figuring that out.
Well, of course, but I never know. You might have a dream out there.
Yeah.
That we have to have dreams and we have to have things we want.
Yeah.
Things we want to do.
And can I ask you something? Mm-hmm. Was this always what you wanted to do?
Oh, heavens, no. I was not going to start a nonprofit. I was not. Mm-hmm. I was on HCA's faculty when I was at the hospital doing the HR. And so I became a manager, trainer type thing, and I loved it and traveled. And then I met Dixie.
Okay.
And started promoting her around the community. And then we started seeing a lot of late-stage breast cancer in women who didn't have money and didn't have insurance. And then we met a woman who challenged us to do something. And believe me, Josh, I never had any idea that I ever wanted to be in a nonprofit. HCA is for-profit. And I will never claim, this was my life goal. Absolutely not. Sometimes you just get handed something. Right.
To be fair, I've actually said that about the profession of human resources. It's something that I feel that I never really chose, but was handed to me.
Handed to you.
Yeah. So as I'm going through life, I don't know, I feel very thankful that it was handed to me because I feel comfortable and I feel that this is what I would want to do. And that's really like cool that you did start this, but it wasn't something that you wanted to do.
No. And like you said, sometimes we have to just accept that gift of whatever and move on with it. But you are very comfortable in this, and I think that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. I think no matter what job you have, if you're comfortable and you wake up in the morning and say, wow, I'm going to go do something good today, then that's what life is all about.
Yeah, I really, that's what I have learned here. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned here so far, and I have quite a bit of left to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're very proud to have you here, and we just all have, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but great expectations for you. We see that person inside, and we know that you will do things that change the world.
Thank you so much. That actually does mean a lot coming from you. For the longest time, I've seen Dorothy Gibbons, the pinnacle. And I don't know, getting to sit across from you today, it's having a conversation. It means a lot to me that you would take the time to do this. And I have to thank you that this is a really great experience and to letting me share a little bit about my experience and what I'm doing.
Well, it was our pleasure for sure.
Thank you.
Usman, how long have you known about the Rose?
Well, I first learned about the Rose when I was in first grade. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, one of my friend's mom died of breast cancer. And then it was really at that point when I started talking to my mom and kind of learning about what breast cancer was and how kind of she worked here at the Rose as an IT manager. And so that's when I learned about the Rose. And every time there were like events, I would ask my mom that if she could bring me to volunteer. Like the shrimp boils, I went to watch skydiving one time. And
that's right. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
And the shrimp boils. And did you actually volunteer?
Yeah, I remember there was something at Bayou City Event Center. I used to transfer things from the car to the place, set things up. I do remember these types of things.
Oh, that was the summit.
Yes.
Yes.
And shrimp boils, I used to always help with those, I remember.
You were what, 5 years old then? 6 years old?
Yeah, about that.
Wow. And we already put you to work.
Yep.
So Nyla was one of my favorites, and yes, every boss has favorites, but she did do our IT. She did our data combinations. She made sure we had all our statistics pulled together, and was just a joy a real joy to work with. So I'm so glad that she brought you into this early on.
Yes.
And you said your sister did some volunteering too.
Yeah, so in quarantine, we had a lot of free time. So my sister started a jewelry making business. And what happened was I kind of sold it and she made it. And then after we sold it, we donated all of the proceeds to the Rose. And then Gary, actually, one of your employees, he matched us dollar for dollar. So that was very exciting for us.
Oh, that was, yeah. And how old were y'all then? That's 2020.
She was about 11 and I was 13.
Oh. So, Usman, you are how old right this minute?
I'm 18.
And when did you finish high school?
I finished high school at 16.
And you're already into college?
Yes.
Yes. And so this summer you came to do some work here.
Yes.
Tell us what that was. You did a short internship type thing.
Yeah, so I started by shadowing the two doctors here, Dr. Melillo and Dr. Raz. And then I kind of transitioned over to the business side where I we're trying to bring the data from the 1990s and we're trying to convert it into so it's online and accessible for other researchers. And that's kind of the work that I've been doing, so digitizing that data.
Mm-hmm. And you're trying your best to get me to do other things with it, right?
Yes, I would really love to use some sort of AI to analyze it. And there's multiple options, but we need to still look into those for the future.
Yes, we do. And as I told you, it's always a matter of money around here. If we're having a close month, then we just don't spend any money on anything but our patients. So that's. But I really appreciate you going through those. And did you find anything interesting in the pathology or in the way the reports looked in the 90s?
Yeah, so when you look at the oldest reports, you see that it's asking very limited information. But then as you progress, you can see that the questions are a lot less broad. They're very specific on the patients, and you can see the actual reports is going from 4 pages to almost 10 or 20 pages of one patient's medical history. So it's very interesting to see that trend.
Right. And I remember even as I was looking back and had some of the other oldies here look at them, we had forgotten some of those questions that we asked then. Mm-hmm. It really is different than now. So I think one of the things that the Rose has to offer our community is, this kind of statistical information on breast cancer, especially in the uninsured population from 94?
Yeah, 1994 to 1999.
So that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Usman, what are you going to be when you grow up?
So I work I'm an employee at the City of Houston, Department of Epidemiology, and I've been doing it for 3 years now. And I've also, so I've just fallen in love with research. Oh. So whatever I do, it should have some sort of research in it as well. So currently I'm looking at some physician scientist roles where you are a doctor on some days, but you do so you're a researcher on other days. And then you kind of combine that together, and then you use what you learn in your research and apply it to some of the patients.
So it's that translational, going from research to medicine to bedside, that kind of thing?
Yes.
And are you already on a track in college to get to that point?
Yeah, I'm currently pre-med, and so I study biophysics and biochemistry, and essentially outside of school, but I also do research at a lab at the UH College of Pharmacy. Mm-hmm. So there we also work on breast cancer, specifically triple-negative breast cancer. And we do actual wet lab research there. And so that's quite fun to do.
So what is that?
So essentially, for cells to divide, for a cancer to progress, it needs to get larger, right? Mm-hmm. So the cells divide, and current treatments is a drug called paclitaxel. And essentially, paclitaxel goes into those cells and makes them stiff. And that means that they can't break apart. But the body gains resistance to these types of things because obviously cancers are very aggressive. Mm-hmm. So our drug goes in a different direction And instead of making it very stiff, it can make it very soft. And then the body gets confused again in a different way. And this is called a destabilization of the cell. And that's kind of what we work on there. And we work on, obviously we do the bench stuff, so like gel electrophoresis, flow cytometry. But then other than that, we also work with actual mouse models, so real mice, and we test our drugs in them, and it's quite interesting.
So you're getting an awful lot of experience before you ever really get started, it sounds like. How did you get into that role?
So I've always loved research, like as a kid, obviously science fair, but now that was one of the reasons I decided to graduate high school early. I felt like I was kind of being held back a little in high school. It's very structured. So once I got out, I was able to pursue research. And I just really love it, every aspect of it that I'm involved in, from the public health aspect to the clinical aspect here at the Rose with the 2 doctors, to the actual lab research aspect at the College of Pharmacy.
What did you learn here at the Rose with the doctors?
The doctors at the Rose are amazing. They're one of the best doctors. They're 2 of the best doctors I've shadowed. Obviously, Dr. Melillo, her dream to build a St. Jude's for breast cancer, that's just incredible. How she's still going at this age. Everything Dr. Melillo taught me about, like even how to live my life, right? How to live to that age. It's incredible, everything that Dr. Melillo says. And then Dr. Raz is also one of my favorite doctors to have ever shadowed, because he's really looking. He's one of the next generation of doctors. I think he should be on the frontier of that, because when half of our conversations were about how AI could impact the work that he does here, so that was very interesting to me.
Yeah, did he tell you he was an engineer before he was a doctor?
Yes.
Yes, and he has a very different mindset when he's thinking and about different, even the products that he's helped to design and make. Yeah. So did you feel comfortable with both of the doctors?
Oh yes, extremely. They were very welcoming. On such short notice, they allowed me to follow them around. They made sure that the patients were comfortable, that I was comfortable. It was just a great experience overall.
And do you normally go into medical places when you're doing these short internships or these?
Oh, yes.
Tell me some of the other places you've been in.
So I've been a medical assistant for quite some time, and basically that's just a family practice, a family physician. I kind of just work there, take vitals, administer shots, that type of thing. But other than that, I'm taking a course online right now to become a EMT. So I'll be in the ambulance, and hopefully that works out over the summer.
This summer? Next summer?
This summer.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that why you haven't come back and finished your internship here? You're so busy.
Oh, yes.
Yes. No, I appreciate everything you did, because that was a whole bunch of digitizing. And I appreciate how you organized it. It's very hard to take those old paper files and make them be ready for that next level.
Yes.
For sure. So what do you think is going to change in medicine in the next 20 years?
That's always a question on my mind, like, will there be robot surgeons in the future? Do people want a surgeon who is a robot in the future? And I kind of think that you can be scared of it on one angle, but you need to embrace it, I think. Like all of this AI, the autonomy that's going to be in the medical field, I think if I leaned into it rather than be afraid of it, like some doctors, then I would be able to like embrace that in the future and really harness it for my, for my jobs.
But you see yourself primarily in research.
Oh,
right.
Well, yes. In research, AI is already very, like the Nobel Prize, most of them are in AI, right? So using AI in research is very important because, for example, we can see how proteins and different chemical structures interact using AI rather than actually having to model them. And that's
And it's just as accurate.
it's very accurate, and it's super important for pharmacology, where we can see how different drugs bind to different sites.
Well, and what else do you see in the future? Will we be healthier? Will we be sicker? Will we?
I do see a future where we are healthier, and that could be partially attributed to AI, but one of my other passions is epidemiology, public health, and I see that also gaining people getting more aware of different things that could be of detriment to them.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
Like Dr. Melillo always says, sugar is... Dr. Melillo loves to talk about sugar, right? I feel like people will gain more of a knowledge about different things like that, which could be of detriment to us.
So, how important do you think our using our emotions will be?
I think emotions may... Well, that's a two-sided question, because there are some AIs which do deal with emotion, but of course, a computer can never be a human, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that there will be some touch of a real doctor, like in tandem with the AIs, but not only the AI, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
No, I'm getting what you're saying. And let me rephrase my question. Do you think we as human beings can heal our bodies?
Yes, that's a whole field called epigenetics, where we can essentially make better life choices and get real chemical changes on our DNA, right? And I think that, once again, with public health and epidemiology, if we learn more about different factors that could impact us, we can change our actual DNA.
Yes, we can. And do you think there's going to be a time when we get to that 24th, when, you know, how they're talking about we're going to create other chromosomes and do that within our bodies?
Maybe not naturally, but we already have chips in people's brains teaching them everything.
And you think that's the way to go?
I think that is the way to go.
Boy, I don't. Truly, I think just what you said, that we can heal our own bodies. You know, when they started all this, they thought there was a gene for every protein in the body. And then they found out there wasn't. That's how the say that again for me.
Epigenetics?
Yes, that's how it got started. Because suddenly it was like it's 25,000, not 100,000, not 10,000 or 100,000 that they needed, and they realized that the genes could change.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was long before chips came along.
Yep.
So then I'm going to go back to my question. How important is our minds, is our emotions, is creating our own energy going to be in being healthy?
Perhaps for current millennials, or maybe even older than millennials, it might be more important. But I do feel personally that the younger generation, those who experience quarantine, are already partially disconnected from society in some sense. So I don't think that, unfortunately, the emotions are valued in those types of people.
Wow, that's interesting.
Like once you speak with those younger people, you see that there are some missing characteristics in them, like of society.
Say more on that.
I mean, I'm not going to single out a specific group of people, but obviously the younger generation, they do have their quirks, right? And I think that this is...
Now, you're 18, but you're not the younger generation, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I just want to clear that up for our listeners.
I mean, people who actually had their childhood indoors for 2 years. Like, that definitely caused some sort of changes to them, don't you think?
Oh, I think so. But I don't think it's necessarily bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think every generation has something that they dealt with that helped to make them more resilient.
Yes.
To make them more able to know about how their bodies work. What I don't think has happened is for people to realize the impact their own thoughts have on their body. Now, see, that's not something you would think of, would you? How do you talk to yourself?
I just have countless possibilities in my head until one works out. That's kind of the way I've been doing it.
And what do you find yourself encouraging yourself or criticizing yourself, or do you even go there?
I would say a balance of both. I like to, of course, encourage myself, applaud myself when something has gone right, but I am critical of myself in order to better myself, which I do try to do.
So give us an example.
I mean, just this past weekend, just on Sunday, I was at a fencing tournament, and there were countless moments like this, right? Where I'm critiquing myself. How do I do better? Where should I improve on myself? But when I won a bout, which is like the match, I'm, of course, applauding myself. Good job. You did this well. Continue doing this to the next one. That's kind of how
So that's in fencing.
Yes.
That's one of the things that you've specialized in. Is it a specialization or
It's just a sport that I play for fun.
what's some other things that you've done? Black belt? Am I thinking right?
Oh, yes. I am a black belt in karate. I'm a black belt in taekwondo and a red belt in karate.
Ah. What other accomplishments?
I just really enjoy volunteering. Like, I recently got the highest tier of the President's Volunteer Service Award.
Oh.
That was very nice. I mean, it started with volunteering at the Rose, which was actually the first place I volunteered, and then it kind of built upon that over time.
So tell me again what that was.
The President's Volunteer Service Award?
Oh. And we're talking U.S. president?
Yeah,
School
U.S.
president? Oh,
president.
wow. I didn't know I was in the presence of such. What is this? But, you were mentioned in the Book of the Rose.
Yes.
Yes. And it was about that first experience you had with breast cancer. But now you did something else, and I really want to highlight this because we were all so stunned that a young man in high school would try to organize a mobile day. You wanted us to bring the mobile mammography coach out to your school.
Yes.
Yes. And how did you do that campaign?
So the story goes that my mom's grandmother, my grandfather's sister, and my grandmother's sister, they all had breast cancer, and it was very late in the diagnosis. So I'm, of course, I really campaigned for screening to catch it early. So one of the things that I did in high school was I started a American Cancer Society club at school, and it did quite well. We raised actually 30 free nights of care for cancer patients. So
Wow, 33 nights?
30 free nights.
Oh, free nights.
And so then one of the other campaigns that I had was to bring the Rose mobile mammography van to the school for the teachers, which I do know that they do. And so that took quite a bit of work, especially as a male. It was quite challenging.
Did people make fun of you?
People did make fun of me, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's nothing to be made fun of. It's a cancer. It's one of the most aggressive forms of cancer, and hundreds of thousands of people die from it. So I didn't really understand why, but I do get where other people were coming from, of course. So we had it organized, and actually we had everyone sign up, but then it turned out that they were actually not due for the mammogram. So unfortunately it didn't go through, but I'm currently working on reorganizing one for the school. So hopefully we can get it into the 2026.
We want that to be successful. If nothing else, you brought people's awareness up.
Yes.
If nothing else, people suddenly had to think, oh, yeah, there is something I could do.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to close. Any final words, especially to somebody old like me? What would you like to say?
I would like to lead a life like yours. I admire your compassion. Like, when people come in, you don't look at race, ethnicity, age, sex. You just help them get the treatment that they need. And in the future, I too would like to lead a life like that.
Well, I think you are well on your way.
Thank you.
I am so proud to know you, Usman, and I'm so touched that you wanted to be with us this summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.